Hello, welcome to the Neurotic Therapy. Let's hear to a terrifying but true horror story. Once upon a time, in a quiet village surrounded by thick forests, there was an old house. The villagers called it the Whispering House. No one dared go near it. The house stood at the edge of the village, its windows dark and broken, its door always creaking in the wind. It was said that the house was cursed. For years, strange things had happened there. People who had gone inside never came back, or if they did, they were never the same. One evening, a curious young man named James decided to uncover the truth. He was new to the village, and the stories about the house fascinated him. Ignoring the warnings from the villagers, he made up his mind. He would be the one to enter the house and solve its mystery. As James approached the house, the air grew cold. The trees around it seemed to whisper, their branches swaying even though there was no wind. He stepped carefully onto the porch, the old wooden boards creaking under his weight. With a deep breath, he pushed the door open. The inside was even darker than the night outside. Cobwebs hung in the corners and dust covered every surface. The smell of decay filled the air. As he explored the house, he noticed strange symbols painted on the walls, symbols that seemed to move when he wasn't looking directly at them. Suddenly, a soft whisper echoed through the house. It was faint, but it sounded like a voice calling his name. James. He froze. The voice was low and eerie, like it came from the walls themselves. He called out, "Hello? Is anyone there?" There was no answer, only silence. But then, the whispers came again, louder this time, and they surrounded him. "James, come closer. We have been waiting for you." Heart racing, James took a step forward, following the voice. It led him to the basement door. The stairs creaked as he descended, his footsteps echoing in the empty darkness. At the bottom, he saw something that made his blood run cold. There were shadows, moving on their own, swirling in the dim light. The shadows whispered, but this time, the words were clearer, more urgent. "Leave, now." But James didn't listen. His curiosity overpowered his fear. He stepped closer to the shadows, and as he did, they seemed to form shapes, twisted, distorted faces that stared at him with hollow eyes. Suddenly, a cold hand grabbed his shoulder. James spun around, but no one was there. The whispers grew louder, now coming from every direction, 1,000 voices speaking all at once. "James, join us." In a panic, James turned and ran, but the shadows followed him, crawling up the walls and twisting around him. No matter how fast he ran, they were always right behind him, whispering his name. He reached the front door, but it slammed shut just as his hand touched the handle. The whispers grew louder, and the shadows closed in around him. The last thing James heard before everything went black was a soft voice, almost a sigh. "Welcome to the Whispering House." The next morning, the villagers found the house quiet. James was gone, and no one had seen him since the night before. They whispered to each other, fearful that the house had claimed yet another soul. And so, the Whispering House remained, waiting for the next curious soul to come, to hear its whispers, and to disappear forever into the shadows. The villagers knew better than to speak of it again. But deep down, they all feared that one day, someone else would hear the whispers too. Thank you for coming, Neurotic Therapy. Subscribe me for more curiosity.